Hey guys, welcome to Calm Belly TV. All right, the topic for today is the 4 keys to starting the Fodmap diet and mastering it. All right, so that's my topic. If you're new here, I am Julie O'Hara and my website is calmbellykitchen.com. I'm a health coach and I specialize in helping women with IBS manage IBS with the Fodmap diet with a practical and stress-free approach. All right, so that's the spiel. Calm Belly TV is my weekly live show where I talk about a Fodmap topic and also take your questions. So let's dive into this week's topic. So we're going to talk about the 4 keys to starting the Fodmap diet. And this is not just from my own experience, it's from working with dozens of women, with clients in my group and in my one-on-one coaching programs. And these are the 4 areas that I see really trip people up at the beginning of the Fodmap diet, the elimination phase, when you're taking all those high Fodmap foods away. And sometimes it trips you up even before you start, and you will see what I mean in a second, okay? Because the first key that I'm going to talk about is very near and dear to my heart. All right, so I'm going to give you an overview of these 4 key steps, but if you want to learn more, if you want to learn how to master them with specific strategies and tips, then sign up for the free bootcamp. So there's a link. That's the link. If you just type that in exactly as you see it, you type the bit.ly exactly like you see it, and that'll take you to the sign up page. We start on Monday, August 14th, and it is a free 1-week boot camp to help you with the beginning of the Fodmap diet. So these 4 steps we're gonna go super deep in the boot camp, but now I'm gonna give you an overview so you can sort of figure out if this is for you. All right. So step 1, and actually let me say hi to my people who are live, make sure everything's good. Okay. Hey Melody, hey Brooke, hey Kathleen. I love it when you guys join me live, and I will have time at the end for Q&A. I'll stay and answer all your questions as long as it takes. So save them up. I'm going to go through the 4 keys first, and then we'll do questions. And if there's any problems, please let me know if you can't see me or hear me, but everything is looking good. All right, cool. All right, so the first key to starting the Fodmap diet, and I've got my little notes here, that's why I look down, I'm not just shy, but the first key is not to spend too much time mourning the food that you're going to give up. All right, so here's why this one is very near and dear to me. And I know this is sort of kind of a mindset thing, and I'm not like a woo-woo mindset person, but this has made a huge difference. And I saw this really mess me up, and I see it happen with lots of other people at the very beginning and even before. So keep in mind that I got IBS in my early 20s. So I spent over 10 years trying everything I could think of to help it. So I read books on digestive health and holistic digestion and acupuncture, clean eating. I tried a high fiber diet, yoga. So whatever there was that I could find, I would try it. And still, I didn't have any control of how my body was going to feel on any given day. And at the time, I lived in South Florida, and sometimes putting on a bathing suit to go to the beach was just too depressing. So it was not good. So you can imagine how excited I was when over 10 years later, I went to a new primary care doctor and he told me about the Fodmap diet. First time I'd ever heard of it. This was a few years ago. So I was so excited, naturally, and the first thing I did is probably what a lot of you did when you learned about Fodmap. I went home and I started Googling. So that's when things kind of deflated. So not only did I find very little information, just very little, and then what I did find was sometimes conflicting or it looked unreliable. And as far as recipes went, I found almost nothing, and what I did find did not excite me very much. So at that point, instead of, diving in and doing my research and just, willpower, I did not just dive in and do the Fodmap diet. I spent months in total paralysis, okay? So I am not proud to say this. I spent months I would try Fodmap for maybe 1 or 2 days, and then I would stop, and then I would feel guilty, and all this time it was weighing so heavily on me, and I felt bad, and my stomach felt bad because I wasn't doing anything about it, and this went on for months and months. So I would say to myself, oh, it's summertime, and I love peaches, and I can't give up all this fruit. And then my birthday came up, and I was definitely going to make my birthday cake that I love and go out to dinner, and then the holidays were on the way, and months went by, and I was in this vicious cycle and feeling crummy about never doing anything and just doing the Fodmap diet. And what I realized, maybe in hindsight, is that I was just mourning all that delicious food that I would have to give up. And I understood that it wasn't forever. You don't just cut out all that food and stop eating it for the rest of your life. That's not what the Fodmap diet's about. I understood that, but I still was too sad to give up all that food, and I love food. But eventually it was like, enough is enough, and I figured it out. I did my research, and I did the Fodmap diet. I did the elimination phase, I reintroduced foods, the whole shebang. And having control, starting to feel better, when I started to feel better and understand what was going on in my body, I felt better than I ever had before, and it was totally worth it. It wasn't even as hard as I made it. I made it so much harder than it had to be, and I really wish that I had just started sooner. But I didn't have any support. I didn't have anyone to talk to. I didn't know anything about this thing, so I spent months and months just mourning all this food. So that's that first key to starting the Fodmap diet, is not to focus on the sadness over the food that you're giving up. It's to focus on the food that you can eat. And there is really a lot of food that you can eat. So in the first step of the bootcamp, I'm going to give you specific actions to make that transition in your mindset, if that's something that's there for you. All right. So, long story went around with the first key there, but we'll go through the next 3 a little bit more quickly. All right, so the second key to starting the Fodmap diet is, looking at my notes, is to learn how to make your low Fodmap meals tasty. All right, this is huge, and believe me, it can be done. So when I finally got the ball rolling and did the Fodmap diet, I like to cook, so it wasn't that hard for me, but what I realized is that it's not that hard to begin with. I kind of took what I knew about flavor, about, building flavor without onion and garlic, and I promise you that onion and garlic do not rule the world at all. You can have awesome flavorful food without them. So I learned to build flavor. I learned to find inspiration from other recipes and how to find recipes I could easily modify some of my old favorite recipes. And I didn't spend time feeling like I was eating bland food, like I was sacrificing. I was eating food that was really delicious, and I like to use the word crave-worthy. So that's the second step in the bootcamp, is giving you specific tips. Even if you're not a foodie, even if you don't love to cook, even if you're not very good in the kitchen, giving you tips you can use to make those low FODMAP meals actually delicious. All right, so recap real quick. The first key to the FODMAP diet is to not spend too much time mourning the food that you have to give up. You can spend a little time, but don't spend months like I did. And the second step is to learn how to make your low FODMAP meals tasty, something you really actually enjoy. All right, moving on to the third key. Thank you to my live viewers who are here. So, the third key to starting the FODMAP diet is to learn how to spot the non-FODMAP factors that can really help or really hinder your digestion. So when I say non-FODMAP factors, a great example is stress. And here's the little secret thing about the elimination phase, that first phase of the FODMAP diet. The super secret bonus that you get is that it's really, really easy to spot all the other factors that play a big role in your digestion. So you're paying really close attention to your body, maybe like you never have before. You're taking away all those potentially irritating foods, those high FODMAP foods, so you can really easily see how the things that you do or other things that you eat, how they affect you too. And a lot of people uncover, all these things that they didn't realize were there. I mean, the same example, they uncover how much stress actually has an effect on their stomach, because it's not something that is so easy to recognize when all this other stuff is going on, pre-FODMAP. So step 3, the third key, is spotting and identifying what they are for you and working at correcting them, all those other factors that play a role in your digestion, because those are the missing pieces that can really, really make you feel great. Taking away FODMAPs helps a lot, but when you get those other pieces in order, you can feel it can make a huge difference. So that's going to be the third step in the boot camp, and I'll give you a specific checklist of things to look for, and we'll get into that a little bit further. Okay. The last key to starting the FODMAP diet, to starting the elimination phase, drum roll please, is to learn how to eat correct portion sizes. All right, portion size is huge. I think I've seen those exact words written in the Facebook group many, many times, and that's because it's really true. But what exactly does that mean, and what does that look like in a real day of eating? So because the portion size topic is kind of a large topic, I am going to do a live online workshop as kind of the grand finale of the boot camp that's all about portion sizes. So we're going to talk about how foods are listed, on the Monash app, so the yellow and the green and the red light foods, how you can combine multiple servings of low FODMAP fruits and vegetables, because the hardest thing, I think, with serving sizes is the fresh produce. People kind of get really restricted and start, relying on the same 10 foods over and over and over, and that's really hard to sustain while you're doing the elimination phase for several weeks. It's just deadly boring, right? So the key is to understand portion sizes so you can have a lot more variety without stressing over every bite or sticking to the same exact foods over and over. So this workshop, I was working on the presentation today, and I'm so excited about it. I have so many fun visuals, and it's going to be really helpful. So that's the fourth key, is understanding portion sizes. And just as a tip right now, because this is a question that I get all the time, you can eat more than one serving of low FODMAP produce in a meal. So you can have your low FODMAP serving of carrots and spinach, and maybe even carrots and spinach and eggplant in the same meal. That is okay on the FODMAP diet. So there's your first tip, but we're going to get really, really, really deep into it with tons of examples in the workshop, which is the finale of the boot camp. All right? So I'll go through the 4 steps real quick one more time. The first one is not to spend too much time mourning the foods that you have to give up for temporarily. The second step is to learn how to make your low FODMAP meals tasty. The third step is to learn how to spot the non-FODMAP factors that play a big role in your digestion, for good or worse, and for better or worse. And the fourth step is to understand how to be eating the correct portion sizes so you can have a lot of variety and still have a calm belly. All right, so I'm opening it up to questions. All of these steps, we're going to dive deep, deep, deep in the free boot camp, which starts on Monday. So there's the link. I had to look before the video. I had to be really careful of which side it was going to be on, so I was, pointing the right way. So the link's right there. You can sign up for free. It's a week, and we're going to dive into these 4 keys, and you're really going to master them with specific tips and actions that you can take. All right? So does anyone have any questions? And you can ask any FODMAP questions. It doesn't have to just be about what I just talked about. All right. And thank you so much again to people who are joining me live. Kristen Hansen, hello. Kathleen, Brooke, Melody, thank you so much. So I will hang out for just a second and see if any questions come up. I'm going to scan my notes in case I missed anything. But I actually did a pretty good job today. I always get off of these Calm Belly TVs and I'm like, oh, I wanted to talk about that other thing. But yeah, the big takeaway, of course you can always watch this again, but sign up for the boot camp. We're just going to go deeper into all this stuff, and it's perfect for you if you're kind of at that beginning part of the FODMAP diet, Or if maybe you've been at this for a while, but it hasn't really clicked for you. Maybe you haven't had the information or support that you've needed, and maybe you were in a little bit of that limbo that I was in for months and months. So if you need a fresh start, then the bootcamp is a really great place to start. And the reason I'm doing the bootcamp now is because it is the perfect prep for my group program that is starting on August 27th. So the group program is called Flat Belly Kitchen, and it's not about weight loss. It is about beating bloat and doing the elimination phase in 6 weeks. But even if you are not interested in the group program, you will get so much value out of the free bootcamp. It is good. I'm really proud of it, and you will get a ton of value out of it. But it is also really perfect prep for the group program to do the elimination phase, and I'll tell you more about that later. But that is why I created this bootcamp now, because I want people to have a tool to master all these really important things that can make a big difference in the elimination phase, so you can actually feel better a lot faster. All right. We are new to Fodmap, thank you. Oh, you're welcome, Anne. Thank you for saying that. Yep, it's a lot at first, but it gets so much easier. So if it seems overwhelming, I mean, really, just kind of keep doing what you're doing, keep taking it in, and it will seem a lot better really soon. All right, guys. I don't see any questions, and if you have a question afterwards, leave it in the comments below this video, but be sure to tag me so I don't miss it, because the comments are not in order, and it's easier to miss on the videos. So definitely, put my name in there and tag me so I will definitely see it, all right? All right, guys, didn't miss anything. All right, so last time, free bootcamp, and thank you so much for watching. I will see you next week. Okay, bye.